Okay. So once again, you are welcome to this call by Rainyday Cooperative Society. This is our definitive session on the Lagos Housing Program. My name is Olufunso Akesanya. I am the president of Rainyday Cooperative Society and I am member 001. So it's my pleasure to, if you are not a member, it's my pleasure to welcome you today to our midst. And I hope that by virtue of our conversations, you would get one or two action points to advance your personal position. Our theme for this season is collective ambition for collective prosperity. And that's why we ventured into asking ourselves that why exactly have we been struggling with housing in Lagos? If people like Alhaji Lateef Jakonde used their resources, by their resources, I mean the government resources at his disposal as the executive governor of the state, to advance housing provision 40 years ago, how and why are we not seeing the same today? And that led us to a few discoveries. Number one, the land administration position of Nigeria has introduced between land in Nigeria. How do I mean? If you buy land, you need to invest in the documentation at a significant cost, especially in town. And the person who is providing you the housing, like we say in Lagos, did not come to Cambridge. Then, in recent times, interest rate has been about 27%. So if they need to go and raise money from the bank to build a house for you, no bank at the commercial rate is giving them anything less than 35%. If the developer is coming in at 35% minimum, bearing in mind also that for most projects in Lagos, the construction timeline would be plus or minus 18 months, especially for logistical reasons, approvals, and all whatnot. If you work with a timeline of 18 months, that means the person is incurring, give or take, 50% interest on the cost of construction. That directly influences your housing price. If you go down the line and you say, oh, I want to do off plan, or I want to build by myself, you have a situation where people will now build something a little higher than Adobe homes, where there is no infrastructure, and they just build a bunch of bungalows, minimal planning. And so 20 years down the line, when they intend to sell the property, they only sell for the value of the land. And we see that all over Nigeria. So we said to ourselves, how do we come together to solve this problem? Number one, it has to be done at a sizable scale. Number two, there is the off-taker challenge. where you are building and you are hoping that people buy in that particular neighborhood. Number three will be infrastructure. How do you provide a certain degree of infrastructure, even in the heart of Lagos? For example, you are trying to do a building in Yaba. The area may not have good drainage. That comes at a cost. You may need to install a new transformer. That comes at a cost, which goes back to my point earlier that you need to do it at scale. Therefore, to realistically solve Lagos housing problems, the best way is to look for long-term means. How do I mean? As a cooperative, we have realized that some people have funds that they want to invest for a bit of a time, but they do not have the professional experience to participate in real estate. Secondly, if they go ahead and build, rental income in the best of cases for the most of Nigeria is about 10%. That's why everybody is obsessed about the short-let business here and there all over Lagos. Even in remote areas, you see people try to do short-let because they are trying to get more returns on their capital. We decided that we'll flip it on its head. Rainyday would coordinate our members, both new and prospective, to put money down and earn a decent ROI on it, which is higher than what they would earn by directly building houses for rent. And then Space Cube, which is the founding corporate partner for Rainyday, would go into these projects, apply measures like direct procurement, and realize cost savings that would enable the completion price of these houses to be at a reasonable amount. So, two things here. By pulling money together amongst ourselves, we are going to significantly reduce the financing costs. Number two, we have created an asset class for anybody who says, oh, I have 5 million, but I want to participate in real estate. Instead of me to go and buy land in bush, let me just put my money here. The person knows that they get a certain amount of money every year. Then lastly, because we are professionals ourselves, we are able to procure directly, including furniture, tiles, roofing materials, sanitary, everything. You're able to cut the inefficiencies in production and in procurement and apply those cost savings to the project. So, hypothetically speaking, if we offer an 80 million naira project, the closest quality to that may be priced at, say, 150 million. By the time you add 50% financing costs and procurement inefficiencies. Therefore, we expect that people are able to get good quality houses, whether it's on the mainland, on the island, or in the greater Lagos area, without breaking the bank. So you will pay for quality, but you will know you are getting quality because Rainyday as a collective has cut out a lot of inefficiencies. From a professional standpoint, we have at least 4 architects in Rainyday Society, and the youngest of them has about 10 years of experience, which means we do not lack internal capacity to drive our own projects. Secondly, we have surveyors, we have engineers, myself being one. We have furniture people, professionals who have decades of experience. For them, it's a win that they are able to participate in a project championed by their own community, just like people want to participate in a church building project or a mosque building project. In this case, we are building homes for ourselves. So professional capacity is available. Then we provide these houses, people get paid their ROI periodically, and everybody is happy. So there's oversight on the project by the Lagos State government. As a compliant society, we are required to report all of our activities. We have done that for 2025. 2026 is another season, and we continually update the Lagos State government in terms of this. Across the Lagos cooperative network covered by LASCO Fed, there is increasing clamor for cooperative societies to intervene in solutions like this because of the tax efficiency and grassroots impacts that cooperative societies have. So to round up my points, we are making money for those who have money to invest, instead of you buying land in the bush and hoping that it appreciates one day. This is an institutional approach to participate in real estate, where you have a say in a democratic organization. 2, we are able to provide high quality buildings, high quality homes to our people. Then 3, the transactions behind it, agency, supplier, and vendor relationships are also going to be amongst our own people. So we have a win-win-win experience. I'll be using over the mic to our General Secretary, who is also one of our architects, to take things further. Thank you very much.
Okay, good evening. Thank you very much, President. Good evening, everyone. I'm sure we've had a great day. We've all had a productive day so far. I'll be sharing my screen very quickly as I narrate some of the thoughts that led us to this point. Give me a second, please. Okay, yeah. So, all right. So I just decided to share this thing. So this the Rainyday Cooperative Society, as you know, is we want to not just be talking about problems, but as the president has said, we want to have tangible, implementable solutions. And in coming up with practical solutions, you need to put your feet in the, step out of the boat into the water, as they say. So we have been active. We have actively continued to seek opportunities. We have a number of them already. Our goal, like he said, is to participate tangibly in resolving housing challenges. I don't want to use the word housing deficit because it has been, not because it's wrong, but there's a way we use it that is not correct in the professional world. And so I just want to say they solve the housing challenges that people have in this part of the world. And How do we intend to do that? Number one, we provide viable properties or assets, investable assets, if I can call them that, so that you know that um, you are not going to be throwing money into a basket where, like throwing water into a basket. You want a situation where the houses you are buying are safe. That's number one. Number two, we are creating an investment platform, where it is just as the president has said, you are able to bring in your money to help people own houses, which means you can invest in blocks and say, oh, I mean, all of that will be shown in the website, but I'm just trying to summarize it so that what we are showing would then make sense in context. So you are able to use your own money to build houses for others and get a return on it. That's what I'm trying to say. So I don't have 100 million. I mean, the federal government has increased the threshold. There was a time when you could own a two-bedroom flat with 3 million naira. Now you can't own a two-bedroom flat bungalow anywhere in Nigeria with less than 25 to 35 million naira. And federal government has obviously increased the benchmarks, so which is why their renewed hope program, they are talking about 100 million naira for homes on mortgage. So good houses, what I would call a good house in Nigeria now, starts from 35 million naira and can go, if you want to call it, I won't call it low cost, I'll call it quote unquote affordable. Because there's really nothing called affordable, I mean, you'd have heard that before. Um so what they call affordable, we can say between 35 to 120 million naira, from bungalows to terrace duplexes, depending on the range. All right. So this location, having said that, I said all of that to give us this particular location. So we have a couple of locations. Number one, we have locations in Abuja. Those ones will be easier to work on. We'll talk about those ones much later. Vacant lands in existing estates that have federal capital C of O and all of those things. But that's secondary. Primary is Lagos and Greater Lagos. Greater Lagos remain part of Ogun State. Let me just call it the Lagos Ibadan mega city. So we're talking about Lagos into Mowe Bafo and all of those places into the fringes of Ibadan, because that's the statistically that's the next largest city in Africa. I mean, the next mega city of Africa, Lagos to Ibadan metropolis. So this is a location in not too far from the redemption camp, where we have an estate with credible land. Okay, my player is jumping ahead of itself, or it's not. It's playing the images first. Okay, so this is a location in the Lagos. I'll reduce the volume so that it doesn't interfere with the recording. So it's somewhere around the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. So it's just that road you see is just the road that leads back down to the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. So it's approximately fairly 15 minutes drive to the Lagos Ibadan Expressway. And there's an estate, it's fenced and all of those things. As you can see, people are built responsibly around there. Our intention is to build some terrace units here. There is a 3D of that, but it's not on my playlist. I'll probably bring it back up. And we're looking, and upon the upon pre-launch, we are looking at a potential of about 80 million naira off plan, 80 million naira off plan. Of course, so that's one of the locations. We also have a couple of locations we're looking at within Lagos State itself. So let me move forward. Okay, so this is our surveyor doing her work there about, the date is there, right? Yeah, 12. No, that's not the date. That's not the date. That's the date I downloaded it. But that was 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, thereabout. So that's one of the locations. The other location we have, this one is in Lekki, around Orchid Road. It's a let me move to the next slide. Yeah, so it's a residential, is a duplex, and pardon me, please. Yes, it's on Orchard Road, and it's a residential duplex. They call it Lakewood, Lakeview Park. I don't want to go into all of those details. But what we are saying basically is these are the two current locations that have been verified. This one is an active construction site. As you can see, this is the picture. So it's an active construction site with all of the LAPCA permits and all of those granted. And you are able to get in for about 100 million naira as an investor. Emphasis on as an investor. So basically what we are saying is we are letting people come in either to invest, so that in this case, for example, you bring in 100 million naira and depending on the tenure you choose, 6 to 12 months, you have between 12 to 25%. We will show that on our website so that we don't confuse ourselves in this analysis phase. But the point is that we are looking at one of the challenges. So I've said all of those things to arrive at this point. One of the challenges with the housing market in Lagos is that the interest rates are very crazy. I'm saying what the president has said before, but I'm going to have to repeat it. The rates are abnormally high. So either they are borrowing from banks, borrowing from their friends, and so forth. And of course, there's the inflation rate. So we have said, let's borrow, lend, create a pool of funds. Let's lend this kind of developer money who is a member of Rainyday Cooperative Society, or Rainyday builds themselves, either way. And then we fund this project. As we fund the project, you get paid when as people buy the project, in very simple terms. And of course, there's a ratio that we're going to share with you, where when you meet that ratio, you can also be a co-owner of such a home. So these are the two current locations. As you know, we are very big on due diligence. So it's not that we do not have up to 10 locations to share, but we have only verified these two. This one, an active site, and the other one, a site where we intend to do the terrace units at between 80 to 85 million naira in Ogun State. We also have a couple of places we are looking at around Surulere, Yaba. We're in talks with a number of persons, of course, doing all of the due diligence to ensure that we're not getting people into any situation that is confusing. That's what we have at the moment. And of course, we'll be keeping us updated. We'll be happy to take your questions, but I think we would also need to share the slide with you on our website as we proceed. So, Mr. Chairman, President, should I share that link now while you explain?
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Okay. Ooh, I thought it was the one open. /Lagos Housing Project. Yeah. So I'll share my screen right now and Okay, please, I'm on sharing my screen, and I'll share it back in a moment, please. Lagos opening meetup. Yes, I've seen where I opened it. Sorry, I opened the link in another browser. Apologies, please. I'm sharing right now. Window. Yeah. All right. So this is the screen. So we have we've called the Lagos Housing Program. Our definitive opportunity, the Rainy Day. Let me reduce this. Sorry. Okay. Yes. Our definitive opportunity. So we have multi-layer benefits, as we've said. right? Number one is that it is an investment. It's an let's use the word investment. It's an investment platform, right? So you participate in this, you are able to. Our goal is to attain 1,000 quality housing units across Lagos mainland and island locations and Greater Lagos. So if we do 80 units to eight units of that terrace that we've talked about, for example, and we do this other unit, we've done nine, and then we're ticking the numbers. The more we can do, we also have a location, for example, not far from the redemption camp where there are several acres available. Um, if we when we begin that, for example, we can probably do up to 100 units at once, and then we take it till phase one is exhausted when we have reached 1,000 units, and um, the yield is 22.5, which is, of course, you can confirm that it's above um, the headline inflation rate. So it's a hedge against Nigeria's inflation, and it's a reliable um, matter. Then, of course, zero agency fees, because as you put, like we said, when you reach a certain threshold, you can actually become the buyer. You can actually buy that property, but of course, that means you have to um, you know, reach a certain threshold. Then there is the full sales commission opportunity, of course, that is clear. Um, Priority allocation, of course. So it's not a matter of who is bringing money first, it's more of who is a member before we go public. So for example, if you are interested in this you want at Orchard Road, you can send us a DM, we let you know, and then somebody is funding it while you are paying for it, and the work goes on. As you can see, the project has begun already. You can if you would like to visit and all of that, we can discuss that afterwards. And as part of your own due diligence, we always advise our partners to engage in proper due diligence. Investor vendor priority. So if you are interested in supplying, being a vendor on the project site as a member of the cooperative society, you get we prioritize you. So it's not your typical investment system. We're aligning capital to our goal, because really, why are we putting money in things that are not benefiting us? Why not invest in public housing in a manner that you can measure in a transparent system? A cooperative is transparent. If you want rainy days, um, what's it called? The annual report, financial report. You can go to the right office with the Lagos State government. You see the annual financial report, and you see all those details. Of course, and the cooperative is mandated to share that information. So, 5 million naira investment at 22.5 means 1.125% annual return. 10 million means 2.25 annual return. And we have achieved this with our other Naira investment. So if you are new to the Rainyday Cooperative Society, you can read up on our Naira investment. So it's not something we have not already begun to achieve. Okay, so you can check out our Naira, where we put in funds in a similar manner in furniture business and in a prominent retail outlet that we all know. We mentioned it during the rainy day meetings, but because this is a public platform, is why I have not mentioned that their names. And so you are able, it's something that we have done, and we are returning the actual, because it's basically you earning from a sale that is traceable, an asset that is visible. All right. So there are 3 partnership levels. There's the bronze partner, 1 million to 9.9 million. There's and that gives you the 25%, 22% ROI and a priority vendor benefit. The highest being the gold partner, 50 million naira and above. So you have the 22.5 ROI, priority vendor, early bird access with no agency to high-end development, which means when we get high-end developments, well, like I said, we're working in several locations, Ikeja GRA, VI, and the likes. So when such assets are available, you are not paying that 5% or 2.5% agency fee. You are getting it at market value. And of course, there's a silver partner, 10 million to 49.9 million. And it also affords you similar benefits. So you can check that website out, fill the form, get started. If you have questions, which we expect that you have questions, please feel free to ask your questions. Regulatory questions: how are we regulated? Who is regulating us? We are open to hearing your questions. And so yeah, let's have your questions from right now. Thank you very much.
Okay, someone is asking what are the timelines for project completion. Okay, let's take all the questions at the same time, then I'll try to answer one after the other. Whichever one is a technical question, our general secretary will answer that. I can see someone to me, Ubuntu Ashe. I'm not sure if I got the name correctly. Yes, Oguniyi Tumishe, Mr. or Miss, please go ahead and ask your questions. I'm not sure I can hear you. I don't know if anybody else is hearing you. Oguniyi Tumishe. Okay, go ahead and type. So hold on. Let's wait for them to type their question. Whilst they are typing, let me look to answer the question by Mr. Tunde Agbejimi. How do you handle risk factors, slow construction, or something going wrong or something? Is there like an insurance backing investments? Okay. Key measures are there is a Lagos State insurance scheme for cooperatives that key into that. In terms of credits, in terms of funding and all whatnot, we are keen into that program. It is organized by the Lagos State government for cooperatives. So we have that on one hand. In terms of risk factors, except for specific projects like the Lekki one that is already ongoing, the core of our investment position is multi-year approach, which means apart from the Lekki project that is ongoing already, that you can invest in that particular project, we are focused on a 3-year horizon. So there is no mismatch of funding, because for fixed assets, every cooperative that invests in fixed assets, the regulatory position is that you do not have a short-term position. So Lagos State is not even going to allow us to promise you anything less than that. If you work with a good horizon and you also manage the project coverage, which means you don't put all your eggs inside a project, there will be no issues with paying back ROI. Problem arises when you collect money from people for 6 months and you want to use it to finish a house. That's not realistic. Our timeline for the actual pool is 3 years. So if you are in for the next 3 years. You get your ROI at the end of every 12 months, and you have access to all the benefits. How that helps you is that when we go into a project, we are not rushed. And we also, because we are professionals ourselves, we understand the business ourselves. There are things that we will do differently in terms of value addition that separates us from other people just trying to build and sell. As you may know, we have a wide range of network across all cooperatives in Lagos. Today, I was still with cooperatives in the Unigbongbo area office of Lagos. Next week, I will be with cooperatives in the Alausa area office. And also next week, I will be spending some time with the Youth Congress of Lascofe. That's all the cooperatives in Lagos. So in terms of offtake, it is either the people internally are off-taking or our network of people offline and online are off-taking. That is excluding realtors who just want to make money, who just trust that our brand. I know that some of you came from Snag Inspector, the handle. We have built quite a sizable reputation there that feeds into demand for these units. Apart from high-end units, I don't want to say luxury, high-end units like the one in Lekki, most of our developments tied down for, yes, you are investing for 3 years. We don't want a funding mismatch where you are wanting to exit and the project is mid. Oh yes, if you sorry, let me take the questions one by one. Mr. Tunda Bejimi is asking if the funds will be tied down for 3 years. In the pool, you are going to be invested for 3 years because that is what the regulator is not going to frown at. No, most projects in Lagos take at least 18 months to deliver because of regulatory processes. You don't go to LASCA and get your approval in 1 week, except, of course, you are the governor's son. So we have to be realistic in our projections. However, in those 3 years, you will get your ROI. That's the point of accountability. You will be getting your ROI. So we go into a project, we do maybe carcass, and people start to commit, off-takers start to pay, we recoup our money. In some cases, we can get to what they popularly call decking, and the off-takers have already paid off the commitments. The cooperative has recouped its money. Along the way, we do not want anyone to feel like they were overpromised and now they're experiencing under delivery. In terms of installments, we have built it such that if you have 1 million today and you want to commit, you will commit your 1 million. The day you want to top up, you would just upload it on your portal and that starts to count from that point so that there is no mismatch of timing. If you put your funds in January, that starts to count. If you put another 10 million in July, that starts to count separately so that you will know when each fund that you have put is due to give you ROI and is due for collection. I hope that speaks clearly to that is our professional discretion. You don't get to indicate, oh, I want to. How have you handled challenges with timeline extension? How you handle timeline extension is there are two major ways. Do not be greedy and want to sell only finished units. That's the number one problem with that leads to timeline extension in Lagos. Because if you build in a good location, as your house is coming up at a reasonable price, people are already offering you commitments. That's one thing. The second one, the second biggest reason why people have, or probably the first biggest reason why people have timeline challenges, is regulatory violation. People don't get the approvals they are supposed to get. So if I'm not violating LabSCA rules, there's no reason why my project will stop. And we are in good terms with LabSCA. We put out a post recently about it. There are about 8 agencies you need to collaborate with it in Lagos. If you feel too smart for yourself, you will have problems. But if you are humble and practical and go and work with them from day one, you will not have timeline issues. Those are our own experiences. I don't know if, including funding challenges, there's no, you are not going to build a project in Lagos. There's no point building a project that nobody wants to buy. So there will be no funding challenges. We don't have that problem. The only reason why we are opening this up is because we have a cooperative society and our members are asking for opportunities. So we do not have funding challenges when it comes to projects. And the way Lagos works, if you are doing your project well, there is always somebody who is looking for a unit to invest in that they are willing to commit upfront for. As long as you are not doing super high-end luxury units. If it's reasonably priced, somebody is willing to pay for it. That's a given in Lagos. There's not even enough houses for even the well-connected. So if your pricing is right, you are compliant, and you are not sluggish, and there's no fund diversion, wherein there is plenty third party in the conversation. There is nothing like funding challenges. Even if you don't want to put your money again, somebody is going to come and say, I like this building you are building. No. How much do you want to sell? Do you want to complete and sell? I'll take 50 million. I'll pay 50 million. If you check your numbers and 50 million makes sense and you're not greedy, you take the 50 million and you return your capital to your pool and you go to another project while you keep completing that one. So I don't know if we understand this. Lagos is a global city. That it is beset by challenges does not remove it from being a global city. The demand is there. It is greed and irresponsibility that always causes problems. And if you don't do due diligence, and we don't have that problem. We have surveyors, as you can see, even before the projects are started, our surveyor has gone there to chart the land. If the surveyors, or when the surveyors and the lawyers do what they are supposed to do, you are not going to have that challenge. The other place where people have problems is when you start building and you are trying to cut corners, whether in terms of materials, building methods, waste evacuation, and all those things. If you don't cut corners in those places, your building is not going to stop. If your building does not stop, people will see it and they want to come and patronize you. So that's how housing works in Lagos. I hope I've been able to speak to the concerns that many or if not all of your questions. And in terms of the partnership, we recognize that some people want to invest in real estate, but life is a journey. They are not there yet. What they can afford is 1 to 10 million. We know that does not realistically own a piece of property, but it allows you to participate in projects. So in this case, like the Lekki project, they can put in their money and get returns. You cannot go and commit or deposit for a 20 million, a 600 million, 700 million property with 10 million. But you can participate in it, have an economic interest in it, and get ROI. Like, oh, I was part of the people that funded that project. The project has matured. We have sold the project, and I've gotten my proceeds. So that way, we are bringing in young people who are just starting life, or even if it's an older person who has multiple obligations, but they can only afford 10 million at that time. It's also fine. Then for the silver partner and the gold partner, the idea behind it or the mission is to allow people subscribe, the people who are investing also be subscribers, which pragmatically there is no house, maybe 2-bedroom, that is less than 40-50 million in Lagos today. So with your 10 million, we can realistically admit you as an off-taker. Your 10 million comes in as a 20% equity, which is what you will get even if you go to a mortgage bank or any other financial institution. They ask you to commit some skin in the game. So that kind of person can say, oh, I have invested 10 million in this project coming up in Bagada or in Yaba or in Alapere. I want a 2-bed in that project. It only makes sense that they then balances the rest of the funds to totally own that unit. Same thing for the gold partner. There is no high-end property on the island or Ikeja GRA that will not set you back at least 200 million. So that also gets them a leg in the door. So they are able to stay abreast of what's happening on the project, and then they can take ownership of a unit and balance up as an insider. Unlike waiting for the project to have advanced before you now say, oh, you are paying, because at every point where the project advances, the person's cost is going to be higher. That's how these things work. I hope I've been able to speak roundly on all these issues.
All right, like we always like I always say, well, I don't always say, but I know someone who always says, don't take my word for it, do your own due diligence. So what I think we can do, of course, what I expect many of us to do, you take out your time, do your due diligence on the particular things we have already shared. For example, the one with
Hold on, please. Someone is asking a question.
oh, okay.
Yes. Rainyday is a cooperative society where our primary goal is long-term investing. We have a USD program where we save small amounts, money that you can misplace every month and not cry about. We call it the My Pikin Fund and the Throwaway Fund. Throwaway Fund literally says money that you can misplace every month. So the Throwaway Fund is like a private pension of some sort. As working class adults, you would agree with me that if you are doing your pension in Naira, you, in the words of an urban philosopher, you may be on a long term. So we came together to decide that it's best that we have a USD program, and I'll be sharing the link shortly. We have been running that for a bit. It's managed by a SEC licensed asset management company. People also save for their children. You have a 5-year-old, you intend to have your 5-year-old go to a great university 10 years from now. By putting 50K, 100K, 70K every month, Naira that is, into a dedicated account where everything is automated there. There is a named account in everybody's name. You send the money there, the cooperative converts it, and we pay the fund manager. That's one thing that we do. And it has helped a lot of people exercise certain restraints in their affairs. So money that somebody will just come and borrow randomly for you and not pay back, you put it in your rainy day account. We do a lot of collaborative projects, including the one we mentioned earlier about our first Naira investment, which is powering retail in a top retail organization through one of our members. And interestingly, what the retail organization just closed a major funding round from an international investor. So we are partners in progress to them, with them, and that's one of the things our members enjoy. Professionally, our members collaborate with one another. We have lawyers, accountants, tax people, doctors, name it, engineers, surveyors, agri experts. We have them in our cooperative. So our projects come from these professional synergies. I'll give you an example. Our treasurer is a banker and a chartered accountant. So we don't worry about, oh, how do we ensure that our numbers are looking good and stuff. We have a professional who is an insider who ensures that these things look good before presenting them to Lagos State. We also have an agricultural project which came out of internal debates from our Greek people, our engineers, all our professionals weighing the odds. Oh, should we do oil palm? Should we do cocoa? Should we do cashew? And for some reasons, informed reasons, we arrived at a cashew plantation. We also exercised our relationships to go and get the land. So we are a community that thrives on collective ambition. I hope that speaks to your question. We have a collective ambition and we go after it. I remember when we started the idea of, oh, maybe we should even set up our own farm. We tried to collaborate with the university and they were not forthcoming. I said, why not buy our own land and set up our own plantation? And everybody said, okay, let's do it. Our agri advisors internally laid the options down, we weighed them, and we went to get it done. Our engineers, surveyors, architects provided project management expertise in buying the land. Our lawyers in our team provided legal guidance on acquiring the land. And so we are by ourselves figuring out life together. And the project is now ongoing. We have partnered with the Cocoa Research Institute of Nigeria. They are coming aboard as one of our technical partners, apart from our internal capacity to build our plantation and scale it up. So how did we get that relationship too? It is through one of our members. So we come together to build big projects that individually can be challenging. That's the whole, above all else, that's the whole point of what we do at Rainyday. If you were going to go and set up a farm by yourself, you would need to leave everything and then face the bush and stay there and hope that you have the right relationships. But with our synergy at Rainyday, you can be wherever and participate. Oh, I have this relationship. Can you talk to this person? Oh, there are some people that are going to the farm to go and check the farm. I won't be able to go, but these people are going and they will give reports. And you will see that, oh, even beyond what I would have done going myself, because I'm not an agri expert, these people who went on our behalf have done it. That's the point of Rainyday. What other benefits? The benefits are ongoing collaboration. Whatever anybody is working on that is sizable, they would always bring it to the center and we'll discuss it. We have projects lined up probably for the next 5 years that we would continue to execute one after the other, which means anybody who is a member has first-hand information to those projects and they can partake of those projects. I hope I've in not too many or not too few words explained our essence to you at Rainyday. Oh yes, it makes you a member. We will send you the membership form and you take it off from there. Yes, it makes you a member. Any other questions, please, while we bring the session to a close? So once again, we thank everyone who has joined this call. Like we mentioned earlier, the greatest challenges in construction in Lagos is lack of due diligence and refusal to comply with standards. If you comply with standards and you do your due diligence, your project will not stop. And from a commercial standpoint, if you're not greedy, if you're not trying to sell a 100 million naira house for 200 million, you will not have you will not have challenges with your project, because Lagos has people. People are looking for houses. If your house is at a good price, those who want to buy will buy, and you will collect the money and smile to the bank. Any other questions? Miss or Mrs. Oreolu Abalogun, do you have a question? Who else have I not seen ask a question?
Let me give special thanks to everyone here from yes, so Mr. Raulu Balug in particular, we had a conversation yesterday and and you are here. I know she's a very busy woman, so thank you for making time. Every other person, I know we're all busy. Just that I had a conversation with her last night and yesterday evening, and I asked her if she'd be able to show up. So thank you very much, Mr. Ni, Professor Kazim, Mr. Tumishe. Thank you very much. A big day meeting to play. Please we'll be sharing the link at the end of we'll be sharing this on YouTube. All of the Q&A sessions we've been hosting this year, we've been sharing those links on YouTube. So we'll be sharing this link. Excuse me, we'll be sharing the link of this as well on YouTube, so you can share with your friends. Anyone who has further questions, please feel free to ask us either through Snag Inspector, directly through the Rainy Day Group page. If you need a phone number, I think I can drop the WhatsApp number right now. Give me a second, please. Let me drop the WhatsApp number. So in case you need to ask further questions on, to guide your decision, let me quickly type that out, please. 0816 4649590. All right, so I've dropped the message and pinned it very quickly, just in case you want to ask further questions via WhatsApp. You can reach out to us on that number or via Snag Inspector. Excuse me, please, or via the Snag Inspector line and via our office. Our office is in Agege by one of the estates there. The address is on our website, so you can see that. So we'll be happy to take more questions. We'll be happy for if you share the conversation with others when the YouTube link is out. All right, I think that will be all from me. Thank you very much to everyone. Have a wonderful evening.